CloudWatch is AWS's primary monitoring service that tracks your applications and your infrastructure through both logs and through performance metrics. It actually works across both cloud and on-premises environments, which lets you monitor everything from your AWS services to your local data center resources. Now, once those logs and metrics get collected, they can then be stored for historical purposes, and they can also be used to create events and alarms. So you can use that to query them and to retrieve specific information and even to look for anomalies. But at this point, one of the questions you might have is, how does this compare to CloudTrail? How are CloudTrail and CloudWatch different, and how are they similar? As you can see from this table, under the CloudWatch column, the purpose for CloudWatch is typically going to be for performance and operational monitoring. So it helps answer questions like, is my application healthy? Is my code having performance issues? Or is it erroring out? Things like that. Why did my Lambda function crash, right? We can see a lot of that information through the CloudWatch logs. So the primary focus of CloudWatch is going to be to provide and monitor metrics, logs, as well as operational data. Versus if we look at CloudTrail, its primary purpose is to log API activity and to also provide us with audit trails. So we can answer questions like, who is it that deleted my S3 bucket, or who accessed S3 data objects, or even things like what changes were made to my security group, when, and by who. So we're really talking about a focus for user activity logging, as well as compliance and governance logging. So they do serve very different purposes, and those are key differences to understand. While many AWS services integrate with CloudWatch in some way, the depth of integration actually varies quite a bit. You've got key services with deep integration that include services like Lambda, where we can send execution logs like I was just talking about. We can also send metrics as well as timeouts. We can also deeply integrate with ECS and EKS in order to view container insights and cluster metrics. We can use it with Amazon RDS, the database, in order to get detailed database performance metrics. We can even use it with API Gateway in order to receive the request and response logs, as well as latency metrics, which is really important for APIs. We can use it with Systems Manager in order to view session logs and also for automation execution visibility. And as another example, we can use it with the network firewall in order to access firewall metrics. This is by no means the only integrations that we have, because many other AWS services, if not most, will actually integrate with CloudWatch at various levels. And some services, like Amazon EC2 in particular, will only send basic metrics by default. But if the service doesn't integrate at the level that you need it to, you can also sometimes install a CloudWatch agent on the host device. So in the case of EC2, you can install the CloudWatch agent on the host EC2, and it will automatically upload the logs from that instance to the AWS CloudWatch service. And then from there, you can dive into your insights, you can export the data to S3 buckets, you can feed it to your SIEM, and so on and so forth. You can do a lot of further processing and analysis. So much so, in fact, that we really need to think about CloudWatch in terms of core functionality. So let's talk about its main features, and let's break it down into several key areas. The first one is going to be metrics. These are the time series data points that represent your resource performance. So we're talking about things like CPU utilization, memory usage, request counts, and so on. You can even create custom metrics if you find that the defaults are just missing some critical pieces of data that you need to be able to see for your various systems. Another core functionality piece is the logging mechanism, and we've already talked quite a bit about that, but this is where your application logs, your AWS service logs, and also your custom logs will end up. So the logs are actually stored in what's called a log group, and you can query them using something called CloudWatch Logs Insights, which actually uses a SQL-like query language. And this is really powerful because it enables things like pattern matching as well as statistical analysis. There's also something called traces, which might be known as X-Ray as well. This is technically a separate service, but X-Ray is now deeply integrated into CloudWatch, and it gives you an end-to-end tracing of your various requests as they flow through your distributed applications. So this is super helpful for debugging things like microservices architectures, as well as for finding various types of performance bottlenecks. And you can see an example in my graphic on this slide. In terms of practical examples, you could, for example, trace a single request as it moves through your API gateway to your Lambda function and then to DynamoDB. And you can see exactly where it's spending the most time, and if you have any sorts of bottlenecks or slow queries, or even in terms of security, a potential attack that's developing. Another core feature is called application signals, and these are going to be automatic insights into your application's behavior, including things like Lambda cold starts, API latency spikes, or even database connection issues. So you can think of it as AWS watching your metrics and your logs and being able to say, hey, something weird is going on here. You should check this out. There's also network monitoring. And so this is going to help you look for unusual traffic patterns or even to help debug connectivity issues, which will help you pinpoint network performance problems. Then, and this one is super important, we have alarms. These are going to watch your metrics and they can trigger actions when your thresholds are crossed. So for instance, you might want to get notified if you have a CPU usage spike that stays above 80% for more than 5 minutes, or if there's a spike in failed API requests. That could indicate an attack or some other form of issue. You can also use this for budgeting purposes because it's going to have visibility into your account's billing. These actions that you trigger or can trigger will depend entirely on what you're trying to do. But for example, you could do things like send notifications by using SNS. You could use it to scale up your instances with auto scaling, or you can perform other service-specific actions. A great integration would be with Amazon EventBridge, where you can then pipe that into something else, or you can modify it in flight. You can send it to queues with SQS, and so on and so forth. There's really a lot you can do with that. The last core functionality I'll mention before we move on with some real-world examples is CloudWatch Insights. So CloudWatch actually has several specialized insight features. Things like container insights for ECS and EKS monitoring, Lambda insights for detailed function performance data, database insights, application insights, and even EC2 resource health insights. So just keep that in mind that we have this functionality as well. But now let's move on and let's actually tie this in to talk about some real-world examples of how all of this functionality works together. So let's say that as a scenario, you're alerted to a slow API response via a CloudWatch alarm. Using application insights, you can identify a slowdown. Then you can leverage X-Ray to trace the bottleneck to a specific microservice. Next, you can use container insights to check if your ECS cluster is resource constrained, followed by examining detailed logs for the problematic service stored within CloudWatch logs. So in this case, the alert itself wasn't necessarily security related, but it could very well have been a security related issue instead of some sort of bad code or whatever. And actually, speaking of a security perspective, CloudWatch has many practical use cases for security. So let's go ahead and talk about a few examples. We can use it to do things like setting up alarms for suspicious API calls, like if you have any repeated failed login attempts, especially against root or an admin user, or if you have a lot of unauthorized API access requests. You can use it to monitor VPC Flow Logs to detect unusual traffic patterns, and we'll talk more about VPC Flow Logs later on in the course. You can use it to create dashboards for security relevant metrics, like if you have failed authentication attempts for your root user, or encryption errors and things like that. And you can also use log insights to investigate security incidents. For example, if you're tracking an attacker's activities across multiple different services. As a real-world example of that, let's say that you want to detect potential data exfiltration. You could, number one, set up VPC Flow Logs to send to CloudWatch. Number two, you could create a metric filter that's looking for unusual outbound data transfers. Number three, you can set an alarm that would trigger whenever this metric spikes. And then number 4, with SNS, you can have the alarm send a notification directly to your security team for a faster response. So as we wrap up here, let's keep in mind that CloudWatch does have a free tier, but beyond that, it can actually get fairly expensive pretty fast, especially because by default, your logs are never going to expire. So as a practical tip, and also for the exam, you would want to set up log retention policies so that you can avoid mounting bills. It really depends, but many compliance frameworks might only require that you have 1 year of logs or up to 1 year. And so there's usually no need to keep those logs forever unless you have a very special use case or unless you just are following frameworks that require beyond a year. But otherwise, that's it for this introduction to the CloudWatch service. We'll definitely continue exploring it in greater detail in other lessons because it is an important part of this exam. But let's go ahead and complete this lesson, and then I will see you in the next.